It's Andy -2 at 7:03 at the airport. Good morning, everyone. A former Calgary schoolteacher has been sentenced to 10 years in prison in Indonesia after being convicted, found guilty of sex crimes against children. Neil Bantelman, once a teacher at Calgary's Weber Academy, was arrested last July along with an Indonesian teaching assistant. They were accused of sexually abusing 3 kindergarten-age students at the Jakarta International School. Prosecutors were looking at a 12-year prison sentence. Neil's brother, Guy, telling 660 News this case was shrouded in secrecy, and the judge pretty much discounted the defense.
I look at the history of this file, or this trial. I look at, the way that the rulings have gone against Neil. I look at the conviction rate at this level of court. It's not surprising. I think it's surprising because it was just so blatantly obvious that these are, trumped up allegations and all about corruption and greed. But again, we've got to fight on to get Neil back to Canada.
Guy Bantelman says there will be an appeal to the Superior Court level in Indonesia. If that fails, then they're going to go to the Supreme Court in Jakarta. He says they are not giving up on Neil, who has always maintained his innocence. Here in Calgary, a date for sentencing will be set next week for a Calgary man who admits to killing his cousin's wife and her young son. 35-year-old Guerra Wilson Clorina has pleaded guilty to first-degree murder and second-degree murder. He admits to killing 5-year-old Gabriel Manzano and to killing Gabriel's mom, Chona Manzano. The mother and son were stabbed to death in their home in the northwest community of Evanston in May of 2013. The court has heard the little boy saw Clorina kill his mother. Clorina then chased the boy down and killed him in his parents' bedroom. The Crown and defense are recommending a combined sentence of life in prison with no chance of parole for 35 years. A 28-year-old Calgary man facing charges now after a month-long investigation into the production of fraudulent credit cards. Searching a home in the southeast community of Mahogany in the deep southeast, police finding bundles and bundles of blank credit cards, blank ID cards, counterfeit vehicle registrations, scanning devices, even equipment to roll back vehicle odometers. Investigators saying everything needed to make fake credit and identification cards was right there.
We are seeing probably an increase in the number of credit card labs across the city in the last year. It used to be done on a frequent basis. With the change in technology, criminals are learning new methods and changing quickly as well.
Andre Playusnin faces 9 fraud-related charges. Premier Jim Prentice is defending a decision to spend $13,000 on 4 80-inch televisions. The new TVs are replacing older 65-inch screens that no longer work. The Premier says the technology is used to hold meetings via video conferencing between ministers who may be in different cities.
We don't fly people around, and we're trying to avoid even driving from, to move all the ministers of cabinet from Edmonton to Calgary or vice versa for a meeting. And so we're trying to do what everyone else in the world does, which is video conferencing.
Wildrose MLA Shane Saskew calls it wasteful spending. He says it demonstrates the government's aura of entitlement to think this would be acceptable to Albertans so soon after the announcement that taxes are being raised in the province. And that's your news to 7:06, about -2 right now at the airport. I'm heading back to Joe Bell.
Thanks very much, Ted. Still ahead, Louis B. Hobson joining us with his review of new movies hitting the big screen this weekend.